He's a husband, a father, and a trooper who nearly didn't make it home. And tonight we're hearing for the first time how Trooper Adam Ellis is recovering after he was shot responding to a high-risk domestic call in Carbondale. Our Capitol Bureau Chief, Rebecca Chung, sat down with the head of the Kansas Highway Patrol for an exclusive interview.
It was a chaotic scene, gunfire injuring Ellis and 3 Osage County deputies. For weeks, Kansas waited for updates. Now, the Kansas Highway Patrol superintendent tells us Trooper Ellis's recovery is nothing short of remarkable.
He had reconstruction surgery on his face the Wednesday after the incident. The doctors were able to repair his septum, his palate, his orbital socket, and his broken jaw. He had a bullet entrance wound right under his left nasal cavity and an exit wound right in front of his right ear, so quite a bit of damage to his face.
Right now, Ellis is getting support from his family and fellow troopers, a bond that goes beyond the badge. What sort of support is KHP providing Trooper Ellis at this time?
He's got a lot of fellow state troopers, both in his zone, in his troop, and in the Topeka and Shawnee County region that have come through for him. An outpouring of support by his colleagues at the State Troopers Association, who have also advocated strongly on behalf of the 3 deputies who were injured.
But Ellis's recovery is only part of the story. This shooting and the injuries to 3 deputies highlight a troubling trend: increasing violence against law enforcement in Kansas and across the country. Since June, 4 law enforcement officers in Kansas have died in the line of duty, all happening just within the span of a few months. When you have such a dangerous situation like this, I'm sure that it can be triggering for some people. How has it impacted morale within the Highway Patrol, but also maybe even recruitment and retention of officers?
When tragedy strikes, like it has 4 times this summer, and like it almost happened 4 more times in one day earlier last month, I don't think that necessarily has an adverse effect on recruiting or retention. I think it's public sentiment in the days leading up to that, and it's the outpouring of support after, in the hours after, that really solidify why people were called to this profession.
Incidents like this put new urgency on training, staffing, and mental health resources for officers. He says the agency will have its own administrative investigation to decide whether additional protections or tactical support are needed. Maybe different training efforts or having more resources or funding available to the Highway Patrol. Is that something that you'd be considering moving forward with the legislature?
Public policy surrounding mental health, public policy surrounding domestic violence, and certainly public policy surrounding domestic violence abusers or people who are in a mental health crisis and their ability to access firearms is always worthy of a conversation. But that's a conversation that the policymakers necessarily have to have a role in and play a part in.
For now, Trooper Ellis continues his road back, remaining focused on healing, one day at a time.
I suspect that around Christmas time or shortly thereafter, he'll be evaluated again for how well that he's healing and how soon he'll be able to return to work. There are still pieces of the investigation that he has to participate in. Of course, then we'll want to make sure that when he's physically healed, that he's also prepared from an emotional standpoint to come back and do this job. So we're all pulling for him. We're all thinking about him, and he's doing well.
And his agency is using this moment to raise awareness about the dangers officers face every day on the job. Reporting from the Kansas State Capitol, I'm Rebecca Chung.